Hello everyone, in this video we're gonna create this interactive photorealistic skeuomorphic toggle button in Figma. I'm gonna show you the full process. However, with these type of things, it's always a lot of experimenting and adjusting the shadows and gradients and going back and forth. This has been a very non-linear creative process, jumping across versions, and so if there is anything unclear, let me know in the comments below. I will answer every question. And if you'd like to download the source file for this button, check the link in the description. That will take you to my store. And let's get into it. Let's get into the video and see how this is created. First, I'm gonna turn the background to completely white. Then I'm gonna use a rectangle to create the basic outline. Wait, what? That's way too big. So let's say 1000, let's say 1600, right? So I'm gonna start with this, add a stroke. And so the stroke is gonna be very specific because this is supposed to show that, a dent, right? So we're gonna have to play around with effects and the stroke colors. We probably gonna use a gradient of some sorts, right? So the first I'm gonna use probably slightly gray actually. This stroke, let's set this to center, right? Like this. And the stroke is gonna be a radial gradient, and this color that's gonna be black. And we just have to play around with the positions of these. So imagine a light coming up from here. So I'm just gonna make a circle that's supposed to show that that's the light, right? So consider this the light source and this the light direction, right? So if that's the case, then this shadow will probably have to be most intense right around here, right? That makes sense. And the light is probably the most intense about around here, right? That makes sense. Let's consider that this is a dent, like into the surface. We'll probably use a softer gray, so a bit lighter. And just to better visualize this, I'm gonna also add a fill, but that one is gonna be a bit darker. So at this point, you can see what I mean. So this is easier to visualize now as a dent, an actual dent. Fill is gonna be probably a bit lighter. We want to have some space for adding shadows, right? So if we make this completely black and then we apply a shadow that is being cast onto this gray surface, we won't be able to see anything. We won't be adding any depth because you can't make a darker color than black. Now that this dent is ready, we want to make two more rectangles. And when it comes to the dimensions of these rectangles, one of them is going to be as big as this whole thing, and one of them is going to be as big as this gray area only. Since we have a 100 pixel wide stroke right here, this would have to be 200 pixels smaller from each side. So from 1280 that becomes 1080, and 664 becomes 464, right? Now it matches up. You want to remove the fill and add a stroke to this rectangle, where position of the stroke is going to be outside. And same thing here, except this position of the stroke that's going to be inside, and their stroke is going to be the same width, so that would be 13 or whatever number we come up with. So now that we have these two strokes, what we want to do is create a gradient from those. So that would be linear, and it's going from white to black, and we're going to position that to match the light. So imagine this being a dent, and this kind of the edge going from the surface into the dent. That would mean this area will be covered by the shadow, but starting around here it will go and being lit up, right? Makes sense. And to kind of highlight this area, so you can see that you have white around here, but you also have the white sloping edge. It doesn't really, not being highlighted properly, so that would mean experimenting with a slightly darker color, light gray, right? So you can see that this stroke is now visible. Same thing here, so again white. And this is not gonna go from black to white, and also it's not gonna have an opposite direction, but it's just gonna be a bit softer, just to kind of show that this is the inside. We wanna maybe make this a bit more subtle, so narrower strokes. Now that I look at it, we probably have to keep this at solid, something like this. This one also, we're gonna have to play with the colors a little bit. This just requires a lot of trial and error to really find out what's the optimal positioning of those gradients, because the details really matter when it comes to skeuomorphism, right? So I'm trying out the black color with partial opacity. Makes sense. Maybe we want to turn this into a linear one. That's probably for the better. So now that this is more or less done, let's add some inner shadow to this gray area to kind of show that beneath this bevel there is a moving part. So inner shadow, we really have to increase the spread, right? And then play around with these settings until it feels right. I'm thinking of having one softer one and then duplicate that and have another slightly less blurry one, right? Makes sense. This kind of starts to feel like there's actually some space between this dark gray and this light gray area, right? We might want to move that a little bit to the side, maybe duplicate the shadow again, decrease the blur, decrease the opacity. Now we are getting somewhere. And to really nail down the metallic look of this inner bevel, I think we could play around a little bit with this radial gradient. So why don't we add a couple colors, white and then black like this, add another, right? Just something like this. And the goal here, really make this visually interesting and believable that this is an actual object. So I think this might help, although we might want to play with these final colors. This one should be darker and this one should be lighter, right? So this is kind of what I had in mind, right? Now let's try and create the actual inner button, the actual little circle that will be used for switching. So you have to make sure that it's equally distant from all the sides, and then the fill is gonna be a linear gradient going from white to light gray, fully opaque everywhere with this direction approximately, and then a stroke going from again white to light gray or slightly darker gray, and that's going to be our bevel, right? So by adding this, you can easily make this look realistic. I think this deserves to be a bit bigger, so why don't we go for like something like this and this, right? And then just match the roundings, then increase the size of this. And probably extend this. We have to realize that there's going to be a text actually, so there needs to be space for that. About this big, that looks nice. This little button right here, this circle, that's going to have a shadow, so drop shadow, blurry, that makes it stand out. One softer one, and then probably I'll duplicate this shadow, create one smaller one, but stronger. You can see that now we can move this around and it looks all right. And the labels, so the label is going to be off, all caps, it's going to be way bigger. Avenir next heavy, probably. And again, we're going to have some inner shadows just to simulate another dent. So that would be the black one coming up from here, from the top left, and another one going from bottom right. But that one's going to be white, like this. Not totally white though, about this light. Right, so this white inner shadow serves as a type of, this simulates again something similar going on here. So a bevel, a dent, and then this little black inner shadow kind of shows that there is some depth. So together it creates this effect. Now we are going to take this whole thing and turn that into a component, and the component is going to be called Skeuomorphic toggle button. And the off state is actually going to be, order of these is going to be switched around. So it's off when it's on the left side and on when the button is on the right side. This is the off state. We're going to add another state that's going to be called on when it's off. And duplicate the off and then just type in on and move that somewhere around here. We're gonna have to create a frame and paste that inside this to hide the text that is not currently on screen. So I'm gonna go here to the frame tool and just take these dimensions, that's 1599 and 624, round that completely, clip content, remove any fill, cut, and paste that on top of this rectangle. I'm gonna actually remove this variant. Just make sure that the off and on is within this frame. It'll be text frame. What this means is that when we now actually move this off thing outside the frame, it gets hidden. So that's the goal, right? That's why we created this frame. And 215 will be the distance from the text, maybe 200, I don't know. Distance of the text from the round button, and then create a variant where all of this is gonna be moved. Right, and this on state, that's gonna be a different color. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be very strong and contrasting. This inner shadow, that's gonna be very soft. And we're gonna add another effect that will be drop shadow with this very color. It's gonna be blurred like this to show that it's glowing. We're gonna create an ellipse and sample the color of the ellipse from here, and then just do this layer blur on that, move that above the text frame, and just extend this over this button. Now we're gonna have to take this rectangle, duplicate that, and then mask this ellipse with it. Actually, we're gonna have to take this. Now we just need to enable the prototyping. So click Smart Animate and likewise click Smart Animate, right? And then we have this test frame right here that I created. And we're gonna test how this looks. And this is the final result. So you can see that with using gradients and inner shadows and drop shadows and all of these type of things, you can achieve a photorealistic look, and you can do some really cool stuff that looks absolutely believable. I think this button, when it comes to realism, I think it looks really realistic. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if there's anything unclear. And if you'd like to download the file, check the link in the description. If you'd like me to do more photorealistic stuff, more skeuomorphism, let me know by leaving a like. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.